Hello guys and welcome back. So after we're happy with the hairstyle and everything and finished with all those different parts, we can now move on to the next stage, which we can convert our hair into interactive grooming. And that grooming for now is not as flexible as the Xgen editor because of the expression it does support in the modifiers, and also it has more modifiers and so on and so forth. So and it has more utilities. But the interactive grooming has one advantage, which is it's gonna allow you to groom every single hair strand, and that's gonna be very beneficial. Okay, so we're gonna move on to that stage. Okay, of course that's when you're happy with everything you can do in here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab all those descriptions, and then we can go to generate and we can convert those to interactive grooming. Okay, and then you can check on a output prefix, right? That's the prefix. We can do just type in interactive or something like that and hit convert. Saw some failure down there. Hopefully that's fun. Okay, and then you can see we have 4 new descriptions, and we can go ahead and grab the old ones and Control H to hide this entire group, and we can now take a look at those. These are interactive grooming. Okay, you can go to the workspace and change your workspace to Xgen interactive grooming. You can see now they are now in the list of the interactive groom editor here. Okay, the hair is using a different color. I think it's using like a default material. So what we can do here is just holding down right mouse button, assign new material. With those things selected, of course, we can go to our node and choose AI standard hair. And you can see now we're having a different hair color. And of course, you can go to attribute editor and change your material name to Ellen hair material. Okay. And for this particular type of material, you can go to the settings. Let me make it and change the melanin setting, and this is going to be determining the brightness of the hair. But not only that, it's determining, based on that, it's also determining the color tint. And if you're sticking with this slider, you're getting a hair color that's realistic, meaning that it's not falling off any the range of possible human hair colors. And of course, you can give it more red tint if you wanted to by dragging that up and down. Okay, with those 2 sliders, you can get fairly realistic kind of like hair color. Okay, but if you wanted to go for something a little bit more artificial, you can change that melanin all the way back to 0, and then the base color here now will be determining the hair color. So you can go here and change that to a blue color if you wanted to, right? But this is of course not possible in real life. Anyway, so I'm going to stick to the realm of realistic. So I'm going to go to the presets, and you can see now there's a bunch of presets for different hair color. I'm going to go for darker brown and replace. All right, and that's going to be the hair color I'm going to go for, which fits with the rest of the colors. Anyway, all right, and after that we can, let me fix the problem here. The eye is like really looking ugly. You can go to the render and viewport 2.0 and change the transparency algorithm to object sorting, and that should fix the problem in there. And also, I believe I have some skin material that I can use. So I'm going to go to the body material here and go to the color. I'm going to use a file and load a skin color. Base color. Okay, and load that. All right, and also I can load my normal map. So just to have all the visuals in there. Normal map. Okay. If your normal map looks weird in the viewport, that's because it's in sRGB format. Change that to raw format, should make it look much better. Okay, and also I believe, yeah, I have actually textured the actual eyebrow in there, so yeah, probably need to turn that off eventually. Anyway, so when that is done, then we can also grab the hair base. You can see because the material is different. So I'm gonna add that. Alright, cool. Now we have the skin texture applied. And I can probably also just do the jacket real quick. The file, and then I think it's called jacket and pants. Oops, I think it's waking up my hard drive. I'm still using old school hard drive, mechanic ones. Most of those are mechanic ones. My system, of course, is SSD, but I'm gonna pick the base color, and it's EXR. Interesting. Okay, and then I'm gonna go also load the normal map. Normal map, EXR. Huh. Interesting. Alright, I didn't expect I was actually using EXR. So keep on going here, and color. Yeah, I think this looks better with everything. So that's gonna be closing, and this one I believe. All right, and then normal map. Those are supposed to be metal, but I don't think I have that kind of a. I don't think I have that kind of a setting here though. Boolean could be fine, so I could make it a little bit more shinier. But this is gonna be difficult to look like a metal. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. I just have some better, slightly better visual for everything. Okay, yeah. So back to our accent hair topic. So for the accent hair to work, I guess I kind of wanted to tweak one more thing, which is specular color is kind of like really strong. Want to make the skin a little bit more drier. Okay, cool. So for the interactive accent hair, we can now grab any one of them, like this one, for example. I believe that is the primary ones. We can add a modifier and add a sculpt layer, and then go to the sculpt layer 1. We can turn on edit, and that way we're basically now able to sculpt it. So for the interactive grooming, you have to use a different set of sculpting, so those two will not work, but everything after this divider here are going to be the brushes for the interactive grooming. We can go to we can also go to the generate and then interactive grooming tools, and you can see that's going to be all the brushes available for you. And let me go to the grab brush, and then holding on B and drag to make the brush bigger, and then I can already sculpt these hair strands, as you can see here, right? Okay, now I can make some bigger adjustment, like I can maybe go here and say I want this to be expanded out a bit more, and let's go back in more, right, just to help make the hair looks a bit more bulkier, give it some more volume, right? This feels exactly like the fiber mesh you're familiar with if you do ZBrush, right? And the good thing is this is layer based, so that means if you don't like anything, you can redo it because it's on a layer. You can even drag the layer and see the difference here, and you can even animate the layer if you ever wish to do that. I don't even see a reason why you would want to do that, but that's an option that you can make animations, I guess. Anyway, on the other hand, you can also mask some part of the hair, and then you can start sculpting just that little strand or that little cluster. To do that, you can use the freezing, or you can also holding down Shift and a right mouse button, and you can see all the brushes. And I'm gonna go for a freeze, make my brush fairly small. I'm gonna mask this little clump here, and I can holding down Control to unmask some of the areas, and just a small cluster of hair, right? That's what I want to deal with. Okay, I want to make those guys bending this way, Right. To do that, I'm gonna go create a new layer just to be able to separate out those things. Turn on the edit mode of the new layer on. Right, that's the new layer. And then I'm gonna go to the holding down shift and right mouse button, go to grab. And here you can go to the tool settings, and then you can say invert frozen effect. And also I'm gonna go to the brush follow, and I'm gonna change the check up the filter backface. It's already off actually on this one, which is good. So that means I can start to sculpt those guys. So you can see I'm now repositioning this hair strand and make it go out and bend this way. So you can basically shape it to whatever you want. It's up to you now, and you can mask every little piece of the hair strands, and you can have your fun, right? Okay. So in theory, you can do and create exactly the hairstyle you wanted to create without any obstacles. You can do whatever you want now, basically. Yeah. So I like to have some hair to go back this way, right? And then you can go back to the freezing again, control and unfreeze that. Okay, pretty cool. And I think the lighting is a bit distracting here. I'm gonna go to that group and then maybe change it to make it more like a straight on lighting. Yeah, feels better. And let's see. I think I can also have some of the hair strands to make the silhouette looks a bit more interesting. I can grab some of the hair strands and make them go out more. Okay, so I'm gonna go for again freezing first to pick one of them. Yeah, maybe I can also just have this little piece. Maybe a little bit more there, but not these guys. Right, I want that to also arc in, so I'm gonna go for grab and then make this piece go in. The hair is not supposed to be straight, so you can see what I'm trying to do here is to make it arc down there, right? Okay. All right. Go to the freeze and unfreeze that. Very cool. And I think these ones can have some really a little bit more interesting arc. Especially those guys, you can see they're all going in a very uniform direction. I think I can mess it up a little bit to give this part a little bit more variations. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the grabbing, and maybe I'm gonna do that on a new layer now. Just keep adding new layers because you may regret doing something, and just a layer there would help you to do a whole lot of tweaking. Okay, and then without worrying about wanting to go back, you can always go back. Let me check out the invert frozen effect and just to adjust them all together. So I want these guys to be standing up more. As you can see, that's what I'm trying to do here. Right, to stand up more. Right, and also this arc, I think it can be a little bit more interesting also. So maybe make those go up more and give this a little arc down there. Oh, too much. Right. So what I'm trying to achieve here is that for this part to have more fluid kind of like flow here, and the way I'm trying to achieve that is also trying to match it with the contour of the skull here. Like you can see, that's the high ground, right? So those are getting supported over here on the eyebrow, and then they can arc out more in there. Right, and we can just give them more arc on those different areas. Right, see what I'm trying to do here, right? Okay. And we can take a look at the differences here. You can see how we're making some changes. Oh, I think I moved those guys. Oops. Yeah, I'm moving those guys. That's why I'm adding those layers. So I'm gonna delete that. And I can redo this part. You can see the power of the layer. I think the reason I'm moving those guys is because I forget to check on now the filter back faces. But nonetheless, the safest way is you go ahead and use the freeze. And you just freeze the areas you want to deal with, right? Like these guys. And then you tweak them over here, right? So maybe I just want to deal with, you know, just this frontal piece. Yeah, and I can just mask these guys, right? And then I can start to grab and then turn on the invert frozen effect. If you don't want to see the frozen effect, you can also go to the display settings and then check out the show frozen. That way you're not seeing that destructive or distracting bluish color. Now we cannot do anything in here, which is just safer, right, to deal with. Unfortunately, sometimes you're still facing like you cannot control Z, which is really annoying with the Xgen editor. So yeah, I'm trying to bring in more volume, of course. Yeah, and then trying to break up this, give it a bigger arc in here, and again trying to arc this part in, right, and make this. Let's go up more and let's go back. Oh, I don't have that masked, so yeah. And I can even go here and tell these guys to even arc back more in here. Right, so that's before and after. Okay, and then I really don't like this very even gap here. This is not looking good at all. So I'm gonna go to the freeze, okay, and I'm gonna defreeze these guys, right, all the way to that part that I have the gap. Right, I can then go use the grab, and then I can make that go down and make this part go up. Can see how this is making the hair to kind of like it's sticking out here, and then it's resting in here. So there is change of flow. So it's going up. It's getting supported by this touching point, and this part is higher in the air, and then you have this part that's sticking up. So you can see how we can, you know, not only just logically making it, but also just artistically trying to make variations, right? Cool. So that. Okay, and then maybe we can do something in here also. I don't like that big gap, so I'm thinking like maybe I can expand some of the things or make that do something different. Yeah, that gap is not looking very good. Yeah, I can't do anything in there, so I'm gonna create a new layer and then freeze and unfreeze that, and I'm gonna go grab this part and deselect that. This is almost like I'm selecting things, right? I'm gonna go grab again, and then maybe I think I can just make it go in, but maybe I can make this part sticking out a little bit more, having some more arc. You can see how I'm making it arcing, right? Giving some nice and fluid lens. Yeah. And of course, if you could just go to the other angle you can also do something in there also. All right, can take a look at the different. Yeah, Lex is a little bit better, but I think I can make it go out a bit more. You want to look at it from different angle, and you can stay here for also quite a long time actually, just to get the result you wanted to go for. But I think, yeah, I think this part is probably fun. I think I can just make this guy to break out from this very unique line, very clean line here a bit more. So I'm gonna go add another layer, and again go to freezing, and you deselect that, and then you select this little piece. Let me do something a bit more crazier, maybe. Yeah, I really want something to also break out from here in this case. So all right. Oh, come on. Yeah, the problem is you can't control Z. I think if you just reopen the file, you could do that. I don't know when it's doing that. I mean, if you could just delete all the traditional Xgens there, you can get away with control Z. The interactive grooming shouldn't having the problem that you cannot control Z. But it's been there consistently, and I don't know like why it's doing that. It's a fantastic tool. It's probably the most advanced hair system. But it's having a lot of problems. Okay, anyway, so yeah, we have that. I think you can also break this up even more. You can go to the freeze, and then you can say, let me unfreeze just half of it, and then go to grabbing again, and then this one can be breaked out more, right, to make some more variations. Because it's easy to actually add when you are doing this kind of like sculpting. It's easy to make them too uniform also, so you can have some variations in there. Okay. Alright, and then I'm gonna go back to freeze and unfreeze that. You can see like with all these layers how much things we can do. Maybe one more layer here, and I'm gonna go to the freezing. And again, you can just stay here forever, right? If you wanted to really tweak every individual part. So here maybe I wanted to have some adjustment to this very last little tip. Okay, I can go to the grabbing and then maybe just give it some forward bending arc here, just to break up that uniformity here. Right, so they're all going this way, but there's someone that's going forward. Okay. Yeah, the ability to be able to art direct this is I think to me is crucial. Like why I like Xgen the most. I'm gonna go to freeze and unfreeze that, and then you can see this part is too uniform. Also, I'm gonna go grab this back part, and then of course a new sculpting layer, and go grab. And I can maybe push it closer to the face for this little piece, and then yeah, I can control Z, so I guess I delete that and then add a new one just to be able to redo this. Don't want it to break it up too much, but I kind of want it to have some I want to make it go in more actually. because I see something. I can see through it, which is not cool from that angle. So I'm trying to make it blocking there. I can go to freeze and then freeze more of that, and then I can go grab, and then I can tweak this piece also. Right, so you could say like 90% of the job is done before in the previous steps, but this one last step is going to be that 1% you really need. Okay, so then it's going to take some time. I go to the freeze, freeze out these, and then I'm going to go freeze these guys. And I think for this little piece, I kind of wanted to make it go down just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, this will take a long time to adjust. Like here, I think I have a lot of works I can do, like to break up this really noisy kind of like effect. I think I can have some more variations, and but overall, I think this is doing okay. And yeah, that part doesn't look good at all. So I guess I need to figure out a way to make that work. So I'm gonna go create another layer. Right, and that should be fixed actually in the earlier stage, but since we're here already, I guess, yeah, I'm gonna go to freeze and unfreeze that, and then I think I can grab these guys and go to grab and then make them to block that big opening. Right, all right, yeah, no big deal, just some quick fix. All right, all those things here in the sculpting, you can turn it off. You can see that's what we have in the beginning of the this video, and then we add a few more changes, right? So that's a lot of adjustment to it, just to give it some more characteristic, personality, all those things. All right, I think that's all there is for the Xgen hair creation process. Just some quick review. I think the important thing are those guides. So if you can get those guides right, you are 90% there. And then it's going to be those modifiers, but you know, those are quite technical, and you don't have to really spend a whole lot of time there. Just quickly adjustment, and then adding the necessary ones like clumping and noise cut. And then you will spend quite a lot of time here in this stage in the interactive grooming, right? And we are only touching the front part. I think there's a lot of things you can do to the back part. But nonetheless, it's a fun process, right? So when that is done, then I think the rest will be you to start setting up maybe render and stuff. But we'll have the rendering part. There's not that much thing you can do in the rendering, actually. So if you render it, it's going to look good. It's going to look as the same as here and better. So I'm not worrying too much about that for sure either. And also learning your hairstyle, understand how the hairstyle actually looks like in reality is going to be also the deciding factor of how much you can remake it in 3D. So make sure that you really take your time and try to understand the hairstyle you're building instead of just trying to use some fancy techniques, right? Your understanding of Xgen wouldn't help you at all if you don't understand your hairstyle. So study it. You can do it multiple times, and eventually you can get a good grasp to that hairstyle. And yeah, that's it for this entire tutorial series for Xgen hair. Thanks for watching. See you next time.